My name is Xavier Miranda. I'm a teacher in the city of El Paso. As an educator, I find it necessary to frame current circumstances within the context of Bloom's taxonomy. 6 characteristics on how we authentically learn. The first component is knowledge. Pertinent examples of this would be to know that the first 10 presidents of the United States were slave owners, that our country's manifest destiny actually came about through the genocide of Native Americans, and that our global economy was built largely through the efforts of enslaved African Americans. The second component is comprehension. In relation to our current justice system, it is important to understand why the United States has approximately 5% of the world's population, but has 25% of the world's incarcerated population. Why the discrepancy between races? It begs a question when it is evident that 1 out of 6 Latinx boys are incarcerated compared to 1 out of 17 Anglo boys. The third component is application. How do we seek to change the inequities? For example, knowing that the annual budget of the El Paso Police Department is $157 million, and knowing that a significant portion of that money is being allocated to purchase surplus weapons and surveillance equipment from the military, while social, recreational, and educational programs face budget cuts. Addressing the source of crime rather than the symptoms would be a better use of funds. The fourth component is analysis. An analysis of the death of suspects while in police custody, such as Danny Saenz, Eric Salas, Sergeant James Brown, and the other 30 casualties during Chief Allen's tenure, would render insight to social, medical, and economic factors that may be used in addressing future situations. Being aware of our history and the associated biases, we can take more effective approaches that would eliminate violent outcomes. Mental health professionals could be dispatched, public works projects could be implemented, and more humane approaches could be integrated. The fifth component is evaluate. An assessment of community engagement, crime rates, lawsuits against the police department, as well as the economic impact on our city, may reveal how the funds to militarize our police force may be better utilized to promote our safety and well-being. The final component is create. At this point, we can now create a community wherein law enforcement can be conducted by citizens that can establish more positive relationships within their communities, of which is more restorative in essence. So for example, the so-called wars on drugs and terror have only vilified people of color, promoting racial resentment for political gain. Just as there was a shift in political and economic investment in the mass incarceration industry to the expansion of a mass deportation system, so too can we shift our resources to models that promote the inherent worth of every individual. Our call for the reform and defunding of police is an educational component that empowers our community in understanding the economics and politics of an oppressive system. As we become aware of the entrenched white supremacy in our systems of justice, education, political, and health, we can recognize the inequitable treatment, refuse to accept the narrative, call it out for its injustice, in accordance to our Constitution and the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Then we can peacefully transform to an authentic democracy that espouses liberty, fraternity, and equality. Thank you.